Hey there, this is a meta update for Shobu.io. The date is February 16th, 2025, and we've just received our first cards from DM08. There aren't a ton of new inclusions, only about 11 total, but we have no fewer than 7 meta-relevant cards to talk about, and we can expect immediate shakeups from about 5 of them. First up, welcome to the era of control decks. We have 3 new cards for Darkness, Fire, Water control builds, and the all-powerful Cranium Clamp is the crown jewel among them. Cranium Clamp is a 4-mana darkness spell that forces your opponent to discard 2 cards of his choice. Fundamentally, the card is comparable to Energy Stream, itself being one of the most common and versatile cards in Dark Fire Water builds. But Cranium Clamp will now serve as the preeminent way to proactively shut out control on mid-range opponents. It's important to note that many formats restrict the number of playable copies of this backbreaking darkness card. Expect official Shobu.io tournaments to place similar restrictions on this card, either by banning it outright or by limiting it to 1 or 2 copies. Rounding out the powerful inclusions to Dark Fire Water control builds are the 3 new Charger cards, Eureka Charger, Volcano Charger, and Corpse Charger. Eureka Charger is a 4-mana Water Civilization spell that draws a card for its caster and immediately enters mana. Eureka Charger represents the dawn of the future playstyle of control builds, where the ability to curve into answers against aggro becomes more and more streamlined. Through a line of turn 2 Bloody Skeeto, turn 3 Phantom Dragon's Flame or Energy Stream, and a turn 4 Eureka Charger, you simultaneously gain both a card-neutral mana curve and acceleration, giving you access to turn 5 Burst Shot and turn 6 Lost Soul, Apocalypse Vise, or Bolmedia Steel Dragon. Against control, resolving a Charger spell against your opponent still allows you to cast the first Lost Soul in games where you've gone second, and will allow you to deploy threats faster and more economically than your opponent. In a similar vein, Corpse Charger is a 4-mana Darkness Civilization spell that acts as a non-shield triggered Dark Reversal, however has an upside of charging itself as mana. Although this card isn't as universally applicable to meta decks as Eureka Charger will be, Corpse Charger offers strong opportunities for recursion-based value in decks like Darkfire Light control decks, where not drawing a great number of cards also serves as your primary win condition. Although this card is not as synergistic in Fall Ega shells, it works to curve into high-value 6-mana cards like Terror Pit, Burst Shot, Bolzard Dragon if you're playing a mana burn build, or in light-focused decks, Grand Gear, Holy Awe, Davatori, and Craze Valkyrie. Finally, for the Charger spells, we have Volcano Charger, which you can anticipate being on the receiving end of if you're playing an aggro deck. For 4 mana, this card is a Crimson Hammer that charges you a mana. This card is a death knell for aggro decks that will now be stoppable at comparatively low mana values, and those same decks will now also have to contend with accelerated game-ending threats like Vazgazil Dragon, and mass removal like the on-curve Burst Shot, or a faster Apocalypse Vise. For the 5th meta-relevant card introduced, we see aggro nature builds getting thrown a bone in the form of Quixotic hero Swine Scout. This aggressively costed 2-mana nature creature hits the board with an unimpressive 1000 power, but boasts the ability to grow by 3000 power for the turn whenever a creature enters the battle zone. Immediately with 1 creature entering the battle zone, Swine Scout grows large enough to beat over the 2-mana Emerald Grass and Hunterfish, while trading with the 3-mana blocker options like Senatine Jade Tree. Swine Scout also boasts favorable combat results in counter-aggro applications, being able to run over every aggro creature currently used in the meta, as well as early-game survivors. As a Beast Folk, Swine Scout is either able to evolve into Bark Whip, or play alongside Bark Whip extremely synergistically. With 1 creature entering the battle zone and having a tapped Bark Whip under your control, Swine Scout swings for 6000 power running over Bloody Skeeto, Bolzard Dragon, and Crystal Paladin. With 2 creatures entering the battle zone, Swine Scout is up to 9000 power and runs over Bolmedius, Craze Valkyrie, and trades with Grand Gear Space Guardian. This card will be a mainstay in all nature aggro builds and seeks to offer those decks a competitive advantage going into early DM08. Our last 2 cards aren't immediately viable, but will have utility later on in the set. Necro Dragon Guyland and Magma Dragon Melgars at the extremely low mana cost of 4 serve as the cheapest dragons available to evolve into the backbreaking Uber Dragon Bajula, which will release later on into the year. Alongside Innocent Hunter from DM06, a formidable mana-burning mid-range deck will rise to confront the upcoming control metagame. Unfortunately, I can't offer a lot of metagame deck insights as I've been away from Shobu.io for about 6 months, but I imagine that with the release of these new tools, Dark Fire Water Control will be the deck to beat in the upcoming weeks. And that's it for the February 16th, 2025 Snapshot. I hope you've gained something from this video, and if you want to play with me on Shobu.io, you can find me playing under the name Rapidion. Thank you for watching, and I'll keep you posted with new updates when the next cards release.